What's going on, everybody? I know it's been quite a while since I've seen you guys. In fact, it's been over a year since I've made an actual video, or close to a year, I guess. But I did make a short Halloween Eve and just before I'm making this video. But enough about that. Today, we're going to be reviewing Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I know if you would have seen my reel from Halloween, then you would know that I watched this Halloween evening. It's a movie that I haven't talked about much on the channel, and most certainly have not done a review about. So I figured now's a good time. I mainly watched it Halloween evening just due to the holiday. Or holiday, I guess it's not technically a holiday, but just due to the season. So anyway, today we'll be talking about Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. My face probably looks pretty lit up as I don't have the lighting down right now. The lighting's kind of off right now, so just please try to disregard that. So anyway, so Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. So this review is going to be done with the thought in mind that the viewer, you, have already seen this movie. So I'm not going to be telling you much about it, about the actual movie. I'm not going to give you a summary. I just expect that you've already seen the movie. So first, we're going to start out. It was obviously released in 2001, and it follows the gang to a university. I guess I will do a summary then. Never mind. We'll do a quick summary just for whatever. But okay. So it was released in 2001, and it essentially follows the gang onto a university. And they get onto the university, and they have a friend who's a programmer at the university. And the friend, his name's Eric, made a video game encompassing the gang and their mystery solving. And essentially there are 10 levels in this computer game that the player has to beat in order to beat the game. And, well, you may be asking, where's the villain in all of this? And the villain is actually a computer virus, which at the beginning of the movie is able to send the gang into the video game. It uses a laser, which somehow or another can transport items and people to and from the video game. Well, it's not supposed to be meant for people, it's just supposed to be meant for items. But anyway, so that's how that happens. And of course, so as of right now, we have the gang is in the video game, the virus is the villain or the monster. And essentially what happens from here is the gang has to beat all 10 levels to get out of the game. Obviously I don't know much about the game, but they're able to go through them, and they get through all 10 levels. In the last level, they actually meet the cyber gang, so basically the cyber versions of themselves there, and at the 10th level, and that's the last level. And then so the cyber gang helps the actual gang beat the last level, get the box of Scooby snacks, which takes them to the next level, or in this case, finishes the game. And the virus is defeated at that level. And then they, of course, are taken back out of the video game and back to real life. And everything is good and dandy, and the man who created the computer virus, because the virus was technically a real monster, it wasn't a person in a mask. But that was another programmer. I think his name was Bill. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of the movie if you hadn't seen it. That was not a great summary at all, so I recommend you just go watch the movie for yourself, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But now I want to talk about some things that I felt were interesting. So these are just a few things I jotted down earlier today. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is really only the first 3 levels in the last level the viewer or the audience gets a good look at. Levels 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we all just kind of, the film kind of hurries through them and doesn't necessarily spend time on it. I think for the first 3 levels that probably encompasses, a good half hour or so, while the next 6 go by in 2 minutes, and then the 10th one is obviously some time as well, probably another 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. Which, it can't be viewed, it's not necessarily viewed as bad, but it's just something that I noticed as the viewer. So, oh yeah, and moving on, the first 3 levels, I think it went... I know there was a prehistoric one, or it was the moon was the first one, ancient Rome was the second level, and then the third level was like the prehistoric times with dinosaurs. And the last level, of course, was the arcade and like the boardwalk in the Cyber City. So, moving on to something else I found kind of interesting is during the last level, there's a very random assortment of monsters, which the gang had faced before. If you've seen the movie, you understand what I'm talking about, but they were essentially there kind of on the virus's side, I guess, fighting for the virus. Obviously, the gang was going against them. But it's really strange. It consisted of the Jaguaro, the Gator Ghoul, Tar Monster, Old Iron Face, and the Creeper. Really weird assortment, if you ask me. The Jaguaro and the Tar Monster are from Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Season 3, 1978. I think both of them. And Old Iron Face as well. Sorry, Old Iron Face, Jaguaro, and the Tar Monster are all from Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Season 3. The Gator Ghoul is from the new Scooby-Doo show, or the Scooby-Doo show, which is essentially the same thing as Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Season 3. Once again, 1978 is when I think that episode with that monster came out. But the Creeper is from Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Season 2, came out in 1970. So I'm not really sure why they did. They don't have any from Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Season 1. None of the original monsters. But I just thought it was curious. That assortment is really random. Especially the 3 or the 4 from the Scooby-Doo show. I mean, the Creeper has always been known as a favorite, so I guess that makes sense. But the other 3 are just kind of random because they're really... I don't quite understand it. They're not necessarily like fan favorites or anything. They're just kind of thrown in there, it seems. So, another thing I noticed was Shaggy went in Cyber World. So, not the real life Shaggy in the movie, but the Cyber Shaggy was wearing a red shirt as opposed to a green one. So he was in like that sort of late 80s, early 90s type dress, like the around the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, that era type. While everybody else was dressed like they would have been in like the beginning, like 1969, 1970. So don't know why they did that. That was also kind of strange. Quick note, which I didn't know this is the last movie of the dark era of animation. And I wasn't familiar with this until I read up on it. And the dark era of animation was essentially composed of like the Boo Brothers, the Reluctant Werewolf, Ghoul School, kind of those movies. And if you have seen any of those, you know what I'm saying. You understand how the animation style is definitely darker, as in like it looks like the movie is just a lot darker. While this movie was brighter, but still was part of the dark era. So that was something I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know the dark era was a thing. But now that I've read about it and thought about it more, that is a thing. Also, this movie is dedicated to the memory of William Hanna, which is one of the original founders of Scooby-Doo. He passed away before the film was released, but he was involved in the creation of the film. So he was part of like the Hanna-Barbera. William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, I think, was his first name. And I don't know much about him right now. And then one last thing about this film is that they actually created video games, like real-world video games, kind of off this movie, for PlayStation and Game Boy Advance, which I never personally played. I never have owned a PlayStation in my life. In fact, I have my Xbox right here. I've always just played on Xbox, and I didn't have the Game Boy Advance either. So, but something interesting about that. So, I guess those are kind of my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I have a DVD film here. I don't know if there is a Blu-ray. There might be, but I just have the DVD because I got this a while back, 5 years ago or so. But anyway, so yeah, there are my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. And now comes the part which I really like about making these videos, and that's posting this video and seeing what you guys think of this film. Well, any film or episode, but for today, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. So let me know what your guys' opinions are down below, and maybe I'll make a reaction video responding to some of them. I could do that on a couple of videos now. I should do that. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, well, let me know what you guys think, and I think that's all I got for today. Once again, this was kind of like a sporadic video. I didn't think much about it. I just kind of picked up the camera, jotted some notes down, and kind of went with it. And yeah, I like talking about Scooby-Doo, so that's kind of nice. But if you guys haven't been watching the channel, which you probably haven't, as I haven't been online since like about a year ago now, we're close to 2,000 subscribers. I think we're two or three subs off from 2,000, so that's awesome. It's great. A lot of them I got in the summer of 2020 when I uploaded a lot, but that's awesome. Let's see if we can get to 2K before my next video, and keep an eye on like the shorts section of my channel, because I plan to do a lot of shorts just when I have something quick to say. Really easy to make with my phone. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video or short.